I was thinking a little bit more about the last video that I made regarding traditional standards of beauty, the traditional standards of education, the eradication of knowledge, the things that are discussed in Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. But I'm afraid that maybe I was making some assumptions, particularly when I said that, their kind of literature in that world, if they had any at all, not that they really had any at all, but if they did make it, it would be this sort of gritty and prosaic and very uninspired and lacking in any kind of beauty. That assumption that I made, I think is a kind of a stretch, because as far as what the principles of this world is in the story regarding beauty or regarding perfection is kind of a gray area. Because I think in terms of the spectrum, it falls in the same part of the spectrum, the scale, as Idiocracy, where it's not necessarily, it doesn't have like a beautiful, perfect facade, right? It's not like it's not so drenched in hedonism that everyone is and that everyone is so sedated that everything is completely perfect. And this sort of blissful ignorance, right? It is very rough around the edges. It's not, it is somewhat honest about its flaws, right? It doesn't. But on the other hand, though, it's not like 1984, which is completely open and honest about the flaws and its own authoritarianism. It does lie to you to a certain degree, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's so captivating, because it does kind of it rubs its own nature in the reader's face. But sorry, it's a bug. But I think on the other hand, though, you see how the characters are just sedated enough that they can kind of muddle through their own life and not really care that they're getting anywhere. They don't really necessarily. I don't get the sense that they actually feel that their lives are so great. They feel like, okay, well, it'll all somehow work out in the end. It's sort of that characterization of the everyman, that sort of pathetic kind of character. That I remember there's a character named Berenger or Beranger in the play called Rhinoceros by Eugene Ionesco, who's very much like this. And it seems like they're trying to create clones of that character everywhere, in this sort of world. And I think that that's what's captivating and that's what's interesting.